Good night, everyone. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are in this world. I just want to say welcome to this program, Dare to Tell, where you can come tell your story of successes, hurt, pain, trauma, you name it. You're able to tell your story on this platform. And you can find us on YouTube at Dare to Tell, or we are also on IG at Dare to Tell It, and so you will find us there. And if you do have a story to tell, you can reach us on dare to tell all at gmail.com. Thank you so much. And so tonight, I would like to welcome my co-host, Sister Leslie.
Good
And
night.
we have
Hello.
with us a wonderful woman, a woman of God, a woman of strength. Her name is Letla Campbell. And so I want to introduce her to you tonight. And she's here to tell her story of surviving cancer. And as we all know, there's so many of us in this world that have gone through it or have a loved one that has gone through it. And I did a little research today on Google, and it says that each year in the United States, about 264,000 cases of breast cancer are diagnosed in women and about 2,400 in men. And it also states that Black women have a higher rate of death from breast cancer than Caucasian women. And breast cancer is the most common cancer in women. So tonight, I want to present to you Letla and give her the floor to speak and tell her story. Floor is yours, my dear.
Hello, everyone. Hello, wherever you are, near or far. As you know me, walking, riding, catching a plane, catching a train, walking your dog, sitting in the park, whatever you're doing, welcome. And I'm happy to be here. You know why? Because I'm alive and I am breathing and I'm looking at you beautiful ladies. So what is it, my dear, that you would like me to tell?
I would like for you to talk about you surviving, well, still surviving cancer, when you found out, what you did about it. I know that you're a praying woman. And so we want you to tell us about your journey when you found out.
Okay. All right. Um, it's funny, you doing your stuff, your regular stuff, going up and down, doing what you're doing. And out of the blue, it was June, actually. It was June. So I took on another job in June. And after a couple of weeks, I gave it up because I started having this tenderness in my breast. And I I associated the tenderness with the job because of the nature of it. It was a lot of pulling, like pulling, because I had to pull this child and she was really, really stiff. So when I went to my doctor and I told her what I was doing and what I was feeling, and she examined and all of that, I did the ultrasound. The ultrasound came back and says nothing. And she did an x-ray. The x-ray came back and said nothing. And then she did physical examination and it said nothing. And based on what I told her, she said, well, you could have just pulled some muscles. So I told her when I put hot water on, like a hot cloth, it feels better, and continue doing that, which I did, and then it went away. So that was June, July, August, end of September. It started to be tender again, and I wasn't paying much attention to it. And then I called my doctor to go back and do another something, whatever it is that next I could do. And then she was going to send me for another ultrasound, but she said this ultrasound now was a little bit different. It was like in depth, right? But I had to move from where I lived, and I wasn't aware that mail went there for me. And there was a letter. My daughter went there and she got the letter, and it was from the government to say I had to do a mammogram. And it was August, but I ignored it because I already did a mammogram November. And they had told me that I only need to do a mammogram once a year. But then when the doctor said she was going to send me for another ultrasound, I told her that I got the letter to do the mammogram. And she said, okay, go ahead and do the mammogram. And I did the mammogram on the 11th of October to be exact. September, October, yeah. And about 4 days later, they called me and said, my doctor requested I come and do another mammogram. And but the date they have for this one was the 26th. They didn't have any earlier time. So I went in November the 26th and I did that other mammogram. And after I did the mammogram, it stated that November. Yeah, November. Sorry, not November, October. October 26th. So October the 11th, October 26th. Sorry about that. And then it came back now, and my doctor called me. I was at work. I never forget. I was at work and I was on lunch. And she called me and I answered and she said, "Hi, Letla." I said hello to her and she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And I started laughing and she was saying, "Why are you laughing?" I said, "Because I know what you're coming with, but the devil is a liar." And it's like she just kind of, I just hear silence on the other end. And she said, "Well, since you know what I'm coming with, so I just want to tell you this is what we're seeing. Um, and but we're gonna send you for a biopsy, and just so you know that I'm here for support and this and that and whatever, whatever." So while I was speaking to her, I went into my boss's office and I put the phone and speakerphone so my boss could hear what was going on. And after that, I came home. I called my daughter. And before I could even get it out, what the doctor said, she started bawling. She was just bawling. And I said to her, "Why are you crying? Don't cry. It is what it is. It's just another part of the journey." And she said, "Mom, how can you be sitting there saying that they're telling you might have cancer and you're saying this?" I said, "Well, what am I going to say?" So, anyways, they called me in around November the 6th or 7th for the biopsy. She immediately she told me to go back to the lab, pick up the disc, pick up this, pick up that, take it down to the hospital at Wilson, and she sent in the paper for them to make the appointment. Now, after she sent the paper for make the appointment, they didn't call me. That like they took a week, even after I bring in the stuff myself. They took a week to call me in for the biopsy. Went in for the biopsy, and then my daughter said to me, "Mom, out of the blue, let's go on a road trip." Because when my children were young, I used to take them on a road trip all the time, just me and them. We drive for hours, different places. So we decided we're gonna go on a road trip to New York, and it's New York Thanksgiving. I went to New York, and everybody's worrying. My sister is worrying, my brother is worrying, this is worrying, that is worrying. Me, I'm having a jolly good time. I'm in Times Square, I'm dancing, I'm singing, I'm happy. Doesn't matter to me. And coming back, we get back into Canada, the border at on the 27th. And as soon as I crossed the border, my phone rang and it was a message, a frantic message. "The doctor is trying to reach you. The doctor office wants to, you need to see you immediately." So yeah, I came in and I made the appointment and I went to see him on December the 6th. And then when I went in to see him, um, my daughter went with me now, and he started to explain to me. So he just hold my boobs and he was showing me how far the cancer was and what left that is not cancerous. And he was saying to me that, um, my best suggestion right now is to take it off, get rid of it before it gets to your lymph nodes. Because once it gets to the lymph nodes, and he was explaining that the cancer in your breast, your lymph nodes is the doorway to the rest of your body. So it's like when the cancer is in your breast, what happens is it just grow and spread in your breast, but it doesn't go in your body like going through your chest cavity. It goes in the lymph nodes because that's where the fluid and the blood is that carry it to your bloodstream and everywhere else. So he said, he was saying you could wait till after the holidays so you could enjoy the holidays with your family and all that kind of stuff and whatever. And I say, no, no, um, I'm not waiting till the holidays. I'm not sure about tomorrow. I am doing it now. Whatever you're gonna do, start putting it together. And by the time I leave the doctor office and I got home, they call me to say they have a surgery date for the 22nd of December.
Okay, so hold on for a minute. Let me ask you a question. I know you're a woman of great faith. I know that. But at any time when you first heard the news and you went on the road trip and stuff, did you
So
have any form of like, oh my God, I can't believe this, or any kind of, fear?
no, no, I was joking. Like, when my doctor hold my breast and he was showing me what left, like the little piece that's not affected. And he said, if when I take the breast off, I could leave this. And I said to him, I never forget, I said to him, doctor, who's gonna suck on that? Yeah. And he just died going, oh my God. And he was saying, you make my job so easy. Yeah, who's gonna suck on that? What are you gonna leave that for? He's gonna take it off, take it off. Right. So, anyways, I left. My daughters cried me. I'm not crying. I want to go home and eat something. I come home and I called the other one. I told her what the prognosis was, and I start to prepare myself. And I want to say to somebody, is not that I am inhuman, and is not that, people said you're human. It's not that I'm not, but I want to say this. I just have such a feeling. I felt great. I felt wonderful. And here the devil now. I came in there. I came in and I was looking in the mirror, and it's like the devil now want to remind me that they're gonna cut off my titty. So I'm standing in the mirror, stark by naked, admiring my boobs. And by this time, though, my breast started to look like a dilapidated fruit that's twisted on a tree.
That
And so I
the
called,
shape of it, the shape was
the shape
changing.
is changing. So I called my daughter and I was saying to her, my breast look like when the sour sap or a sweet sap is growing and it grows too bad in the branch and it's twisted. And she said, Mom, oh my God, why can you joke at a time like this?
I
I said, well,
know.
I said, well, that's what it looks like. It looks like it's a twisted sour sap. So, anyways, I was looking in the mirror and I hear like a voice said to me, you laughing and you don't even know they're gonna cut off your breast. And I literally hear myself answer back and said, well, it's not, it's my breast, it's not my life. And then I move on from there. Um, went in the hospital. And you know what? My doctor was concerned. Um, Everybody was concerned because they're saying that, after this, I called my bishop, and even him was concerned. He was saying, you have to do this and that, because after this happened, you're gonna look in the mirror one day, and then you're gonna really realize it's gone, and then you might fall in depression. And I said, me, depression? I miss gunshot. I miss all kind of things. Don't have time to fall in depression. And I'm not saying that everybody have my strength, but what I'm saying is they have to understand that God is God. And like I about a month or so before all of this come about, before the final thing come about, I do my live in the morning, and I was doing um a a, a, a live, and the word that I was doing was, you will not die in Lodabar. You will not die in Lodabar. And when I started to research Lodabar was a place of disease, of sickness, of depression, of madness, of all kind of things. And the word of God said, you may be dropped on your head, you may be crippled, but you're not going to die in Lodabar. And that word, and then, in the beginning of the year, I got a word, and the word was, I'm going to take you to a Job season. So I started to study Job, and I started to realize, so God already prepped me with all these things. He was prepping me before I actually get to it. Because before all of this happened, before any prognosis, any diagnosis, anything, the word come to me January was, you're gonna go through a Job. I'm taking you through a Job season. And the significance of that came about when I got my diagnosis. Because I was reading Job, and it was saying, what is gonna happen, what happened to Job. all that kind of stuff, and Job bear it through. But at the end of it, Job restored more, 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 more. And the more I read it, I said, okay, God, this is it. I have ministry to do. And I know that at the end of this, with my one titty, I'm going to be more powerful than I was with my two. So I started to just focus on the positive things. And I want to say to somebody out there that it's not as simple as you hear me saying it. It hits you. It hits you. But you have to focus on the positive part of it. And then the positive part of it is that I'm planning a wedding. I'm getting married this summer. I'm not dead. I only have one breast. I'm still alive. And I'm looking down the road. I'm looking outside of the box. I'm seeing my children around me, my grandchildren around me. I'm seeing all the good things. I'm seeing what God is doing. And so sometimes we have to take ourselves out of the bad part of it and look at the good part. And I think that's what kept me, is that I did not allow the negatives that were coming up in my mind. They did come up in my mind, what if this, what if that. There was a lot of what if. Oh, there's a lot of what if. And what if it spread, what if, whatever. But every time something comes up, I would counteract it with something positive. And this is what I'm doing, and this is what I'm going to do, and this is what God says. And I would get in my Bible and I'd look for. And that's why it says that when you stand on the word of God, and when you meditate on this word day and night, meditate on it, it will give you that peace, right? It will give you that strength. It will give you that thing when you know that God. And people would say, you're so religious, you're so religious, and you're talking about religious and religious a time like this. Well, this is the time. It's not religion and it's not religious. It's called faith.
But you see, let me say something. It's easy for some of us, especially
Yeah.
those of us that knows the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
For somebody that doesn't know God, doesn't know the strength of the Lord, doesn't know what he can do, doesn't have that faith, and are going through that process, they would probably say it's easier said than done.
Done.
You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
what would you say to those people that don't know the Lord, are going
That's it.
through, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, they're not that positive, not strong to actually go through and not be worried,
Mm-hmm.
or have that
Mm-hmm.
fear that they're going to die or the worst is
Mm-hmm.
going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
what would you say to those people?
Well, the first thing you have to do is, whether you're strong, whether you're healthy, whether you're sick, whether you're maimed or lame, right? The most important thing in your life is to surround yourself from the beginning with positive people.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to surround yourself with positive people, because you see, when you surround yourself with positive people, whether you're Christian or no Christian, and things come upon you, and you have those positive people in your corner, and you have those positive people to encourage you. But when you surround yourself with people who don't can't see outside of the box, and the moment they hear of your diagnosis, they start to have a pity party with you, and they start to have this thing where in their head, well, you're gonna die. And sometimes just the things that they're thinking, they say it out loud, that send you into more depression. They say it to you thinking they're helping you. Well, don't worry, because you know what, if you go, we'll take care of your children. If you go, people does that, and so you got to surround yourself. I would say to somebody, let's put aside the Christianity right now, because not everybody out there is a Christian. But let's put aside that and talk about the people who, they don't go to church, never been in church, or they just go there when there's a wedding, a baptism of their friends, a baby dedication, a funeral or something. So they just ever grace the presence of the sanctuary like that. Outside of that, let's talk about a dancehall person. But even a dancehall person who don't go to church, they still read the Bible, which, if it says the Lord is my shepherd. And the fact that they were thinking about make a joyful noise unto the Lord. I've heard more unsaved people than Christian people use the Lord is my shepherd. And Psalms 27, the Lord is my light and my salvation. And the thing is, the fact that they already have that in their spirit, when you surround yourself with positive people and those little things can come together, it will help you to get out of this and get to where you need to go. And it will help you to move the thoughts out of your head that, okay, this is it for me, I'm gonna die. So you don't have to, and then that is faith though. Because even though you're a person who don't know God, whatever, and you have these positive people to encourage you, and you start to say to those people, you know, you're right, I'm gonna live, I'm not gonna die. That you start to speak that faith into yourself. And so that's what you have to do. You got to make the conscious decision of saying that I'm going to rise. I'm not going to allow this thing to have a pity party with me. And that is the problem. The moment we hear this diagnosis, we start to have a pity party with ourselves. We sit down and we bawl and we cry and we do everything. We don't do nothing with the kids. We don't do nothing with the husband. We don't do nothing with nobody because we're having a pity party with ourselves. And that is what sickness does to us. It wants us to sit there and have a pity party. And while you're having a pity party, you're wasting away. But when you can start to think positive, for me though, and this is my belief, I believe my positive thinking rejuvenate me. My positive thinking push me forward. So it's not just the faith that I'm a Christian, I have faith, but I think positive enough that no, the Bible says that I am a God to my Pharaoh. Now, somebody who don't know that the Bible says that, they can still say, I am in control of me. You're not in control of me. So they might not know it enough to say, I'm a God to my Pharaoh. But you can say, let me tell you something. I'm in control of my life's disease, and you're not going to control me. I'm going to rise up and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And so many people send me stuff, boil this, buy this, eat this, drink this. Oh God, I don't know if I can eat and boil and drink everything somebody send me, you
Yeah.
know. But the fact that you have those people in your corner that is encouraging you, and you feel that somebody cares.
Yeah.
And love. Love is the biggest antidote. You
Mhm.
see, if I never knew my children love me any other time, my grandchildren love me any other time, I have some friends, if I didn't know that they love me any other time, and just knowing, just feeling that love, that warmth, you want to fight.
Yeah.
So when you're surrounded with positive people and love, it will help you to fight.
Yeah,
I
because
hope that answers your question.
there are people, because there are people that when they get a news like that, the stress of it ends their life more than
Yeah.
the disease itself.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, so as like you said, but I do
Mm-hmm.
believe that there's a fighter in all of us, because I know I have
Yes.
a friend that she is not a Christian. She doesn't know the Lord, anything about the Lord. And she found, when she found out that she had breast cancer also, she put up a fight.
Got
You
to.
understand? She's good today. So, yes. So, okay. So, where are you in your journey right now
So right
since
now,
surgery? Mhm.
right now, I went to do, I had to go do a bone scan because now on the morning of the surgery, they did another ultrasound because they do, the surgery was 2 in the afternoon. So I had to go into the hospital at 6 in the morning, and they use that time to do more ultrasound just to make sure of what they're doing and do MRI and all that. And during that period, they found out that the lymph nodes was actually touched. So they had to remove some, right? During that period. So of course, I didn't even know that until I went back for my 2 weeks visit with the surgeon. That's when he told me that all of that happened while I was in surgery. So then because that happened, I had to go do um, a, a bone scan, meaning they inject me with all these, whatever they inject me with, and it's supposed to go, it's a couple of hours of an appointment because they have to inject you, and then you have to wait how many hours for the thing to go through your vein and latch onto your bones so they can check your bones. Well, I give God thanks at this moment. that came back, and the cancer did not reach it. It did not reach my bones. I have a little bit of arthritis in my back, but I'm gonna tell that to go too. But it did not reach my bone. So yesterday I went and do another inject up. This one they put me on a drip thing, and that is to look at my internal organs and in my muscles and all that kind of stuff. And I'm believing God that that's coming back negative too.
Yes.
So where I am right now in my journey, I am going to continue on the path that I'm on. I have a foundation that I started. I have a whole lot of people that's depending on me. I have a whole lot of old people and a whole lot of young people. I have a whole lot of youths, young men who is waiting on me to sit with them in the park and just kind of talk to them and guide them in the right direction. So right now, I'm on a healing journey. I'm trying not to do too much, but it's hard because I'm not used to staying home and lie down in bed all day. It's really maddening. It's crazy. But I'm taking my time, and I'm getting married because I'm alive. Yeah. And so um moving on from here, when this is all done, I know my life is never gonna be the same, because now I'm gonna have to be going to the doctor like I've never done before. I never gone to the doctor unless I'm feeling really sick. Now, whether I feel sick or not, there's gonna be a allotted time when I have to go. Gotta go do this blood work, gonna go do this. But at the end of the day, I know that eventually too, that is gonna be just, it's gonna pass. That too will pass, right? So right now in my journey, I'm healing. Um, but I'm on the phone still doing what I do best. Every day, the amount of people I talk to every day, I have this problem. Can you pray with me? Can you do this? Can you do that? And the fact that I'm home now, and I think it's in my head that I don't have to get up to go to work. So, um, working the night shift before, I would go to bed at 5 or 6 in the evening. I would get up at 8:30 to go to work. So I'll go to work, and at my break time, I'll get from 2 to 3. I'll get an hour sleep. So basically, my body's still doing the same thing. So when I'm up, I pray. Um, there is people that I can call and pray with. Let me just give you a little piece of it. A young girl called me in Jamaica. I was helping her, paying her school fee for her daughter and helping them with food based on the program and stuff like that. And so she sent me a message and she said, Miss Campbell, can you pray for me? I have breast cancer. And I laughed. I said, look at this. She's don't even know what I'm going through. Okay. And she's calling me to say, I left me a message to say I should pray for her. Um, she has breast cancer. So I called her, and when I called her, she was telling me what's happening. And I'm telling you, I am so blessed. I just have to keep on doing God's work. I have to keep on doing ministry, because when she started to tell me what's happening to her in Jamaica, and how hard it is and all of that, I realized that I have so much more hope to stay alive right now than she does. Because, you know, if anybody knows Jamaica, this girl lives in Monroe in St. Elizabeth. She has to go from Monroe by bus to Kingston, which is a good, from where she lives, she has to take a taxi to the little town, taxi from the little town to Santa Cruz, a taxi from Santa Cruz to Mandeville, a taxi from Mandeville to Kingston, a taxi from downtown Kingston again. And so all these pieces of transportation, you picture this now, this young woman, and the worst thing about it is she's doing it all alone.
But do you understand that that's why I really ask people to tell their story? Because my belief is your story, your journey is not for you, it's for
Yeah,
somebody else.
yeah.
Because you are going through it, on your healing journey right now, and then you found out that this young woman, and in that way you can tell. I mean, even though you didn't say it, but you know what I mean. There was a reason why God makes some connections that
No, I do say it. I do say
you
it.
tell
I
her.
do say
So
it. I
that's why
do
I'm
say it.
saying our
Yeah,
story is really to help somebody else. You know what
yeah.
I mean? So
Yeah.
let me ask you another question. Did you have any family history of cancer in your family?
I have one sister who found lumps like 12 years ago, and it was just lump, and they removed the lump. Now, I guess on her father's side of the family, there's other family members, but I've never heard of anybody on my mother's side of the family,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So I don't know of anybody on my mother's side of the family.
So let me give my co-host the floor so she could ask you whatever question she has. You're muted. You're muted.
Oh,
Okay,
before
go
I
ahead.
ask the question, I have to say this, and I say this to Letla all the time. In the Caribbean, they have a saying, "You're like Ian." This woman goes through hoops. She's been through so much,
Oh, have
and
mercy.
anytime I've spoken to her, it's never in a negative tone. How are you? Oh, I'm good. It's never to complain. It's never to talk about what she's going through. If she tells you some of the things that she's gone through, she
Which,
is more than stronger than Teflon.
Mm.
I remember when she got her news, she called and she said, I have some news to share with you. So I said, okay. And in a very nonchalant, very calm way, she said, oh, I went to the doctor. Well, she went back on some of the history. And then she said, I went to the doctor. This is what the doctor said. My response was, the devil is a liar. I
I
said, you have
remember.
kingdom work to do. I said, there's too much for you to do. There's too many people depending on you
Yeah.
for you to be taken out now. So it is done. It's a good report. I
yeah.
don't believe the report. Whose report will we believe? But
Mm,
even through that time while I'm speaking, she was laughing. She says, please, Chop, it is well.
that's hers.
So she already has that mindset
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
that, I'm not ill.
yeah.
It is well. And the faith that she has,
Oh my God.
and that's why the Bible says if you have faith as a grain of mustard seed, you can move mountains.
Yeah,
So because of her faith, every mountain in her life has always been removed. She
yeah,
jumps I think the higher the obstacle she gets is the higher she jumps.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I
I've never,
admire that about her
yeah.
because some of us, I've never gone through a fraction of what she has gone through.
Oh Lord.
And some of us, when we go through things, we like to have a pity party and whine and
Yeah.
complain,
Yeah.
or we have that
Negative.
demeanor. It's
Mhm.
you can see it on people's face that
Yeah,
they're going through,
yeah,
or they're bitter, or they're angry. None of those things I can
never.
say, none of those labels I can place on her,
Mm,
always in a positive note. So as a result, everything that she's going through, I feel it makes it easier for her to handle just because of
yeah,
her outlook
yeah.
and because of the way she handles her challenges.
You are so right. I've known her for years and I've never seen so much strength in one person. Like I don't know if I could do what she does. But as you said, so right, Sister Leslie. So go
But can
ahead
I
and
say this to
So
you?
yeah.
I can I say this to you? I was talking to God the other day, and I was saying I was going back from my homeless days, raping days, every kind of days. And I was saying to God, but God, because gonna have this woman call me. Don't talk to me for how long. She didn't even have a connection for me, but just messenger. To messenger me, to tell me, Miss Campbell, pray for me. I have cancer in the breast. Not knowing that Miss Campbell just cut off her titty. And I'm saying to God, but you know what, God? Why is it you always giving me these things that when people call me, I can literally, honestly say to them, I feel you. I
I'm right there.
understand you. It's not just saying to somebody, oh, I'm so sorry. I understand you. I don't tell people I'm sorry. When they call me to say I'm going through this and I'm going through that, I don't tell them I'm sorry. I try to find something positive, outlook. It's like one time a lady said to me, her sister was in a car crash with some other family members, and his only the sister live. And I said to her that the Lord said in everything He works for good. And she was so mad at me. And I started to break it down, and I said, look at it. Everybody in that car died, but your sister lived. Didn't He not work for good? Your sister lived. Your cousin didn't live. This didn't live, but your sister lived. And so I look at it as everything that God has that I've gone through and are going through. I can it's for a purpose, because the Lord gave me a word once, and He said, I'm taking you into Jesus ministry. And if anybody studied Jesus ministry, it's not an easy ministry leading up to the cross. It's not an easy ministry leading up to the cross. Leading up to the cross, He was spat on, beaten, kicked, put on a thorn of crown, nail Him hand, nail Him foot, plunge Him side, give Him the bitter cup. And so when you start to look at Jesus' ministry, it does not tell you that if God call you into ministry, and I'm talking on the Christian side now, if God call you into ministry, don't think that, and I'm saying this to somebody, don't think that if God call you into ministry, you're going to escape everything. Job never escaped everything. Neither did David. They all have a story. They all had to go through something. And so when I started to think about it, I'm having a conversation with God. That also make me feel rejuvenated, because when this girl called me, and she's in a worse position than I am, when you think about it, because you think about this, she goes after all that journey to the hospital, sit down at KPH whole day, only to be told by the doctors, I'm sorry, but we can't see you today because they can't find your docket. She's already going through an emotional turmoil. I don't know what's gonna happen with my breast, whatever. So today's Monday, and you have to take the journey back how many hours in bus fare and come back again on Thursday. And so when I look at that, I say, God, am I not blessed? Am I not blessed? And then I start to look at the diagnosis and all the tests, the MRIs, the ultrasounds, the this, the that, all of those. If I was in her shoes in Jamaica, that's already almost $2 million. Because just to do an MRI right now is about $80,000. 800 Canadian. And so these are the things that keep me going. I put myself in the what if. What if that was me? What if I was there? What if I was stuck in Jamaica in COVID? Because I wanted to be there. So when you can think of the what if, then you can start to really appreciate what God is doing. And when you can start to appreciate what God is doing, it builds your faith. And so I'm saying to somebody, it doesn't matter if you're a Christian or not, just appreciate the fact that you have life, because it says He brought you out of yesterday into today. And the fact that you're into today, there's hope for tomorrow. So when you can see it that way, and as you said, when some people get diagnosed, they can't think like that. And that is the fact. They will never think like that. And that is why we need to surround ourselves with people that will think like that for us.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So my question is, you recently got engaged.
No, the engagement not happened yet. It's coming.
Oh, it's okay. So you recently got, I guess, connected with your Boaz, and the excitement of planning a wedding. How did he handle the news?
Can I say this? Can I say this on national TV? Okay, babes, if you're watching, don't worry. He said, I said to him, so what you think now that, they said I'm going to have one breast and all of that, and how do you feel about it? He said, how do I feel about what? One breast is more than a mouthful. He said one is more than a mouthful.
Oh,
I
that's
can
so
only
sweet.
have a mouthful at a time, and one is more than a mouthful. So That's how he handled it. And he's really,
Wow.
he took it really good, and he's handled it good. The fact is I'm alive, and we have ministry to do, and we've been doing ministry, and I'm his sidekick, I'm his ride and die. And so yeah,
Yeah.
that's how he takes it.
So would you say because he is a man of God, he was able to handle the news better than if he were a man that didn't have faith? He wasn't a man of faith. Do
I
you think
believe
the
so.
results would
I,
have been
I
different?
I would say so. I would say the result would have been different if he was not a man of faith and he didn't have positive people around him. So if he's not a man of faith, he's a dancehall, and his dancehall friends are not positive and said, man, look at the other attribute of the woman, man. Nobody watch the breast, man. Nobody do this. If he doesn't have those kind of a people around him, then yeah, it would have been different. I think he would walk away.
My God, that's powerful. Yes.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. So
Any more questions, Leslie?
Anything, okay, so again, I know your faith. I know your purpose. I know for sure that because there's so much work for you to do, you've got many more years to go. But
amen.
anything that you would have done differently had you seen this coming?
Not really. Because there's nothing different I want to do than what I'm doing now and what I'm about to do. Right? Because I wanted to get married and I wanted to do it right this time. You know what the good thing about this marriage is? Let me give you a little secret on this marriage. It is the fact that for the first time in my relationships, and all of the relationships I have that was my decision, they were done. I married the man them then. But this time, the cart didn't go before the horse. The cart didn't go before the horse. And so this man and I, we were dating without even knowing we were dating. We're just working together. We've been working together. Just he's the secretary of my organization. And to be honest with you, when it went from hey sis, hey bro, to hey babes, hey babes, it just it just kind of like a different thing. And the cart didn't go before the horse yet. So right now, I am saying to myself, God, me never really have a man in my life who never really want something before this and before that. So how the wedding night I go? I don't know. I don't. But but yeah, I wouldn't do anything different really. I would still continue to do what I'm doing. I would still be doing my 2 job and my 3 job, and doing ministry at the same time, and doing my live in the mornings, and calling people calling me to pray for them, and I'm giving people advice, and I'm telling people. Even now as I'm speaking, I have a young lady, she's in the States, and I have to be the one calling. I call her children a lot because she's not in a position. I call them a lot. What are you doing? Did you do your homework? Did you do this? Did you do that? I have another woman who we're building a toilet for, and it doesn't stop. I'm home, but it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop.
It's what you're called to do.
It does
It's
not
what you were
stop.
called to do.
So I wouldn't do it different. Nothing different. Nothing different. I'll still get up and go, and nothing different. That's what makes me tick. That's what makes me just happy. Um, for some people, it makes them happy to travel, which I do like traveling, and I like sitting by the water, and I like all of that. But it makes me happy when I touch somebody's life. And that's why God gave me the word tick. I
Yeah.
got that word, I got those 3 letters in a dream, TIC, and it took me months to keep writing down words. I took a book and I wrote word, until I came up with 3 words that come together: tick, touch, impact, and change. And so my life is about ticking. I gotta touch somebody. And in order to bring somebody to their destiny, you got to tick them. You got to touch their lives. You have to create an impact in their lives, and the impact will create a change in their life.
That's why we're here. to really, really touch lives,
Yeah.
Um, I want to say this to the audience. Let me put a disclaimer out there. I am not a medical doctor in any way, shape, or form, but I'm talking from experience where even though I've never gone through what Letla has gone through, but I know that some of the symptoms that I could talk about is you can have a lump in your breast or underarm, you can have thickening or swelling of part of
Mm-hmm.
the breast, you can
Mm-hmm.
have irritation or dimpling of your breast or
Mm-hmm.
on the skin,
Mm-hmm.
redness or flaky
Mm-hmm.
skin on the nipples, in the
Mm-hmm.
nipple area or the breast, pulling off the nipple or pain in the nipple area. And you
Mm-hmm.
can also have an increase in your breast size or shape
Mm-hmm.
over a short period of time. And I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
that to say this, that even if we're in some other countries that you're not able to pay for a mammogram, do a self check. Check
Yeah.
yourself. Lift your arm up, lay on your bed, go around it little by little,
Mm-hmm.
check to see if there are any lumps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Check
Or any
the
thickening.
nipples. Yes, so it's something
Yeah.
that we can do often if we're not able to, go have a mammogram or pay for one wherever you are. You might be in a country
Mm-hmm.
where it's not possible. So those are some of the stuff that we could do, just a self-check to make sure, because too many people have passed or are going through this
Yeah, a
disease.
lot of women. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you know what too? Um, and I don't know if it's appropriate to say, but this is me. I feel that too. That's why it's good when a woman have a man in their life that is a man in their life, not a man who comes, drop his shoes, jump into bed, put his shoes on, and go again. Because when you have that committed partner, that's one of his job, because they like to feel up your boobs. And if you not feel up your boobs, him we can tell, say, wait there. These are my boobs, so we must know say something different. And sometimes even the husbands can assist the wives to just tell them that, babes, you something not right your breast, Because the honest truth is some women can put their hand up over their head as the doctor teaches to do it. And you could
Right.
feel till Jesus come. And sometimes you feel something, but you can't tell whether is it a lump or is it
Yeah.
just a muscle. But
Because
yeah,
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 because some of us have very dense breast
yeah,
tissue,
yeah,
and also people have cysts in their breasts that's
exactly.
lumpy, but it's not. But then when you find it, you do have to have to check
Mm-hmm,
it out.
mm-hmm.
But
So
yeah, but I tell you,
so the
Letla,
husbands can help.
yes, they certainly can. I tell you, I really lift my hat to you because of the strength. And I know it's just not in your strength, it's because you know God and He gives you that
Yeah,
strength that you couldn't
yes.
That's right.
otherwise have in your own skin. You know what I mean? And it's
Mm-hmm.
just amazing the stuff that you've gone through. We would like to do a part two with you for you to tell another story because I know that you have journeys, not just a journey, but you have gone through some stuff in your life and you're still standing today,
Amen.
strong and just facing everything head on like the warrior you are, and I love that fight that's in you.
Gotta keep on fighting.
Mhm. Yeah. So I would like for you to encourage somebody today that might have gone through or is going through something similar or the same thing, and
Mhm.
for you to just give them a word of encouragement.
So I just want to say to every woman out there or every man, and it's not just breast cancer, it's pancreatic, prostate, kidney, liver, all kind. But I just want to encourage you that when the doctor gives you that news, don't run and hide. Don't run and hide, because some people run and hide because immediately the first thing that come to mind is death, and nobody wants to die. Honest truth. And so they run and they hide, and and some people they keep it from their family members. Don't keep it from your family members, don't keep it from your friends. You need to, if that time come or if that shall happen, you need to at this point now surround yourself with people that will help you, not people that will have a pity party with you, but somebody that will empathize and sympathize and encourage, not to have a pity party, right? So make sure of who you're surrounding yourself with. As it said, blessed is the man who walketh not. So surround yourself with good positive vibes.
Awesome. Awesome. Any
Yeah.
last word, Sir Leslie?
Thank you for sharing your story with us, Letla. I hope that as a lot of people, when they hear cancer, there's a
Mhm.
stigma attached to it.
Yeah.
People want to keep it a secret.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they don't want to talk about it. So I admire you for coming forth with your story tonight. And as you tell your story and you're so transparent, it is my hope that someone tonight will be encouraged. Someone
Amen.
will also have the courage to, reach out to someone, to be encouraged by someone,
Mhm.
and to be encouraged by your story. So thank you so much for coming out and sharing tonight. And we pray that you're helping many other women, those that have not gone for their mammogram. I think it's recommended after 45 you should get a mammogram done
Yeah.
every 2 years. So
Yeah.
we encourage you tonight to go out and get a mammogram done. Go
Yeah.
get your colon checked. Men out
Mhm.
there, make sure you go get your colon checked, because
Yeah.
it is important and it
It is
can
important.
save your life. Early
Life.
detection is the key.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Get it
Early
done.
Absolutely.
detection is the key.
Get it
Absolutely.
So
done.
thanks again. We thank
Thank
you for
you.
joining us.
Thank you.
Good
It was
night.
my pleasure.
Yes, and also I just want to reiterate on our channel on YouTube it's Dare to Tell. On IG it's Dare to Tell It. And if you do have a story, you can email us at daretotellall@gmail.com. We will be having a telephone number in weeks to come so that you will be able to call. All right, so thank you, audience. Thank you all. Thank you, my co-host. You're awesome. Thank you,
Good
Sister
night.
Thank you,
Leslie.
ladies.
Thank
Yes,
you
Thank
thank
you.
guys.
Have a
you.
good
God
night.
Good
bless.
night.
Good night.
Okay, bye bye.